around a year ago, I completed my last public job for the government of Israel as Director General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And in that task, I became exposed to the entire network of Israeli foreign policy across the whole globe. It wasn't just the Middle East. It was from Japan, across all of Asia, to Africa, to Latin America, North America, the whole world. And the charge that was coming up in our internal debate in Israel was being repeated over and over again, is that Israel is increasingly isolated. Like we have no friends in the world. And having been in that position, being exposed to what was going on globally, I found that that was completely false. Let me start with something that became very evident to me already in 2009 before I took this position. I got a call from an old friend from the United Nations. And he said, "Dory, come to London. I want you to meet somebody." We go to the top floor, and out walks a member of the royal family of one of the states of the Gulf countries. I can't say which. I sit with a gentleman, he was also foreign minister, and I see, first of all, I say, "Well, what's your concern?" He says, "I don't know where the United States is going, and our major concern is Iran." And he shared his real worries about what Iran was going to do to the entire Middle East. But I saw this outreach. I witnessed this outreach by a member of the royal family of one of the Gulf states to reach out to Israel and sending us an SOS basically for help. Fast forward, another theater, another development. One of the initiatives, which I was very proud to be involved with during my period as Director General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, was when I took a whole Israeli delegation to Abu Dhabi. And we didn't go there just to look at the nice architecture. We went there to open an office of the State of Israel. Something was beginning to change. I can tell you this without going into too much detail. Israel today is capable of communicating with virtually every Arab state. Israel today is capable of communicating with the states of the Gulf. Where that goes, I don't know. But the change in the environment is quite extraordinary and completely flies in the face of those who say Israel is isolated. Just one other case that I will share with you, or one other region. You know, the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, decided to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the Entebbe raid and took a delegation to Uganda, which I was proudly a part of. And in Uganda, we met with 4 heads of state, but 3 other countries asked to come anyway. So we had basically 7 African countries who came to meet the Prime Minister of Israel. That is not an isolated country. I followed through with further contacts in Africa with countries with whom we did not have diplomatic relations. One of those I can speak about because it's open, and that's the country of Guinea, known as Guinea-Conakry for its capital. And Guinea is one of a whole strip of countries. You begin in the Atlantic Ocean, you cross the Sahara Desert, and you arrive to the border of Sudan. And that was an area where we had tremendous opportunity to expand Israel's relations. With Guinea, which is a Muslim country, we signed mutual recognition and diplomatic relations during the period I served. With other countries, we started moving it forward. For example, we had a meeting with the president of Chad, Idris Deby. I asked Idris Deby's chief of staff, tell me, why is this happening now? What's going on? And then I said, well, why did you not do this before? So he looked in the direction, he looked northward, and he said, Libya, Gaddafi. So I said, well, guess what? Gaddafi's dead, and Libya is falling apart. And he says, and that's why you're here. The world is beginning to change, and there are new opportunities. So normally, many times when you have a pro-Israel event, you give people the reason to say, oy vey, telling them of all of Israel's threats. But we're living in a period of tremendous opportunities.